All right, we should be live here, folks. Thanks for joining. Hello, my friends. It's the Game Boy Geek here. Right now is about 2 weeks where I got back from the Gamma trade show to the day, actually almost to the hour, where there were hundreds of people. And at that point, the coronavirus was starting to go crazy here in the United States. A lot of things have changed since then. Everyone's been pretty much doing the social distancing. I've been pretty much staying home for the last 2 weeks. Catching up on a lot of YouTube videos in my watch later section of YouTube, and learning about new games, buying more games. And in the middle of all this, the Miniature Market just started a hidden gem sale with games up to 90% off. Happened earlier this week where they started it, and I went on and I ended up buying like 21 games, and some of them as low as $1, $2, $3 of games that I actually like, that I already own, that I'm buying for gifts for friends. By the way, if you can hear, if they're having any problems with the audio or video out there, let me know in the chat. Also, if you have any questions, or any suggestions about games, go ahead and put them in the chat and I'll try to monitor that. But that's why I'm not here with my pals this time. The last few times we've done this, I've had some people here, some of my friends, but because of the social distancing, it's just me tonight. So with that being said, yeah, earlier this week I started this, and I bought 21 games that I'm going to be giving away to my friends that I've already got, and there's a great deal. Tons of great deals out there. So tonight what we're going to do is go through this awesome Miniature Market sale, and I've handpicked 28 games that I thought were either really good deals, or ones that I love that are at great prices that are also good deals. Oh, it looks like Madigal Escobar on the chat already said they bought 11 games already. Good job. Thanks for letting me know the sound's going well. So I am going to bring us to the Miniature Market site here, and so you should be able to see both myself in the corner and the site itself. So one of the coolest things that I like about this, let me just bring up just the Miniature Market site here, is it has the hidden gems sale, but one of my favorite things that Miniature Market does is that it says browsed sale list right here, where it says up to 90% off. It's up here on the right. And if you click that, it actually brings you to a spreadsheet, and I love this because it has all of the game names in alphabetical order, it has the retail price, and it has the sale price, and it actually shows you the discount you're getting. Some of them are actually, I found one of the ones I bought was 91% off. And like that. So I went through this list earlier this week and bought 21 games, and then today, just an hour before, I went through it again to make sure that I'm using the most current list, because things are selling out as we speak. 200 games have already sold out completely already from this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring me back up here and the Miniature Market. There we go. So now you can see everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 28 games and tell you just maybe for a minute about the game so you can learn about them. Yeah, so Kind and Stuttered says, with reduced social interaction, I think my folks will be two-player games to play with my significant other. Absolutely. There's been a lot of people doing two-player games, a lot of people doing solo games. That's pretty much what a lot of people are doing. And so let's get started here. So first one is, let's see here, Backyard Treehouse, Backyard Builder's Treehouse. This is $1. This was actually a reprint of another game. It was a train game. It was a card game. This is a card drafting game set collection. Vincent Dutray art. It's $1. It's a good game. Like if you want to introduce somebody to the hobby and you want to show them a nice, easy little set collection drafting game with beautiful art where you're building a really cool treehouse, this is a great choice. $1. You can't beat it. I bought 10 of these. I really did. Because I'm going to be giving them out for gifts throughout the year. So if you like quick little drafting games, it's 20 minutes, cool artwork, definitely a great one to look at. And they also have, for 50 cents, right under that one, is like a little mini sort of expansion, a little achievement card, some promo cards that you can get for Backyard Builder's Treehouse. So for $1.50, you get the game and some little expansions there. And so that's just, I mean, smoking deal. $1, I mean, that is just absolutely craziness there. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. We have, Beyond Baker Street. Okay, so I told you I bought 21 games, and I lied. I actually bought 22 because in the last hour, as I was looking for the ones that were still up and still for sale, I realized I missed this one, so I made another order just for this one. This is one of my favorite cooperative games, actually. It flew under the radar a lot. It's from Z-Man. I don't know why it did fly under the radar. $11, are you kidding me? This is a game where you're cooperatively working together to solve cases. It uses a mechanism like Hanabi, where you have cards in your hand, and you don't get to see your own cards, but you see everybody else's. And you're giving each other's clues about what's in your hand, and you're trying to figure out how to get them to play things to different investigations to catch different criminals. It's awesome. If you hated Hanabi, I don't think you'll like this. But if you're even ho-hum on Hanabi, you thought if you like cooperative games and you like hidden information, where you can't just everyone tell everybody what to do, this one is one of the best, if not the best. And for $11, wow. If this one doesn't sell out, guys, you're crazy. This is a fantastic cooperative game. It's absolutely one of my favorites of all time. It's probably in my top 20. And it's about a 30-minute game. It's got really good art, really tough, and they got different levels. You got special abilities. Oh, this game is fantastic. Let's see. All right, so let's go to the next one. That was a no-brainer, folks. Go get Beyond Baker Street. Next one is Citrus. This is from Tasty Mr. Game. This is a Euro game where you're drafting tiles and putting them on a board. And essentially, it's an area control game where you're putting out different types of plantations, and you are gathering fruit from different types. It's kind of an abstracted game, but Tasty Minstrel repicked this up from DLP games, and you know they always do. TMG always does great stuff with components and such. It's a good game. It's got double-sided board, so you can play sort of a quicker game or a full game. If you like tile drafting and you like sort of playing on a board, a little bit of abstraction, trying to tile laying and area control, this is a really good one. I've reviewed this one. So you can watch the review on my channel. Just search Citrus Game Boy Geek and you can find that. Let's see what's next here on the list. All right, we have Colony. This is an older game, a few years old, from Bezier Games. This is sort of a futuristic. It's pretty much sort of a deck builder game. There's some dice involved, but you're essentially grabbing cards to build your colony, if you will. And each of them have a sort of an ability that will trigger. And it's sort of a deck builder where you're buying cards, you're getting currencies, you're buying cards, and you're making your engine stronger. And the cool thing about this game is there's lots of different setup variabilities. There's lots of different cards you can start the game with or not have in the game at all. And so every time you play the game, you can sort of mix and match it. If your players and your friends like games where you're kind of like at each other's throats and stuff, there's cards that have a little bit of take that. If you don't like that and you like sort of like solitaire Euro style games, you can just kind of take those cards out and put the ones that have the more thinky solitaire style Euro building engines in it and stuff. Really cool artwork. And for $26, it used to be $60. I think this one is just a really good idea. If you like deck building games, definitely check this one out. Next one, Council of Four. This is one of my favorite Euro games. Actually, down here, I have my review down here. And I have a comparison of this awesome new version and the older version that I actually reviewed. Check that out because it shows you all the components. Simon produced this version, and it's like knocked it out of the park with these huge minis. It's a Euro game that's dry in game, but man, it's so fun because you're building up these different areas around town, and every time you do something, if you do it next to a town that you have, it triggers bonuses for that town and every town you have that touches that you have things on. So towards the end of the game, you're like doing one action and you're getting like 6 bonuses in a row. And each bonus might allow you to move up on a track, which triggers another bonus and another bonus and another bonus. And you have like these humongous turns that is just like so fun that you've got to check this out. If you haven't played Council of Four, this is like a modern day classic of new Euro games, and it's one of my favorites. In this version, I like a lot better than the original version. And if you like sort of a little bit of area control, some cards, some hand management, you're grabbing cards, you're playing certain cards to do certain actions, you're moving up different tracks, and you're building things out, network route building on the board. So if you like those type of things, definitely check out Council of Four. Let's see. All right, and if you've just joined, go ahead and you can put some comments or questions in the chat or comments or things that you suggest. Or if you're going through the list yourself, let us know what deals you found. The next one is a game called Crossing. This is kind of a party game. It's best for up to 6 players. And essentially what you're doing is You are trying to gather gems of set collection of different colors, red, blue, orange, things like that. For each set, you're going to score points, and you're trying to go to different stalls that have different gems on them, but everyone is going to be pointing at these at the same time, and if multiple people point to them, you're not going to get them. But if you are able to get some gems, you put them on your own board. Then on future rounds, instead of pointing at one of the market stalls where a bunch of gems are, players can point at your board and steal them from you, unless, of course, instead of you actually pointing at a board, you cover yours and you keep it from being stolen. It's sort of a press your luck because you're trying to get more and more. Then finally, you can kind of like take them off your board. But by doing that, you're not getting more. So it's got like sort of a press your luck. It's got simultaneous action selection. In this game, you will just be laughing your butt off at the different things that happens there with all these different players and the interactions between them. All right, let's see. Next one. Madigal says in the chat, Crossings is such a fun game. See, there's another one. You got to get that one. Oh, yeah, that Crossings there was $9. I mean, my gosh. This used to be like a really hard game to find because it used to only be out in France. When I got it, it was only out in France. Cool little mushroom theme. Anyways, $9, no-brainer. The next one is from Gray Fox Games, actually Social Sloth Games, which is essentially Gray Fox. It's an imprint of their brand. This is sort of their party game genre. This game is very interesting. If you like games for icebreakers, I mean, putting games on the table, the reason why we play a lot of these games is to connect with people. My whole thing here, if you read my shirt, my whole tagline is breaking down barriers and growing relationships through board games. This game helps you do that because there's going to be a card, and there's going to be a certain thing like, it gives you, you're in a grocery store and you saw somebody steal something from somebody. How do you feel about that? And there's all these different emotions around the board, and each round you get secretly paired up with another person, and you're trying to put a card down, guessing which emotion would they be feeling if that happened. And then once everyone's done that, you're also guessing for someone else, and someone else is guessing you. And afterwards, each player will go around, will find out who was guessing for them, and then you say which emotion it was and why. You sort of get to tell stories of your past and how you deal with different situations. And people will score. It's a party game. The scoring doesn't matter too much, but you get to learn a lot about people. So if you do a lot of icebreakers and such, this is a great one. It's better with more players. I think it plays up to 6, possibly 8. I can't remember. Let's see. I can't remember. It's a lot of players. 8 players, 3 to 8 players. And this one's really fun. If you want to do some icebreakers and such, this is a really good one. Under $20, $17 there. Billy says he keeps coming super close to picking up Crossing. Seems to be super fun. Billy, stop waiting, man. Pull the trigger. All right, Fish Frenzy. This is another one from Crash Games. This was the same publisher that did the first one that I showed you for $1. This one is $3. This was 90% off. This is a sort of a action selection, simultaneous selection, set collection game where you're trying to collect certain set collections of fish, but there's also seagulls that come out. You can take fish from other players. This is sort of a light family-style set collection game. It takes about 20 minutes to play. The art's really beautiful. That comes with big chunky wooden bits. If you go on the Miniature Market page, my review is right there that you can watch. Again, if you're just $3, it's like a no-brainer. This used to be a $32 game. For selling for $3, this is going to sell out pretty quick. And it's a good game. So check it out if you like family-style set collections with, little colorful artwork there. The next one is sort of a hidden gem as well. Flea Market. This is an older game from Mayfair. This is a game where it's sort of like buy low, sell high. There's all these different objects in the flea market. And there's only one left of these in stock. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's $15. It's probably going to sell out while we're talking. But essentially, in flea market, you are bidding on certain items, and you're going to pay a certain amount for them. However, later on, those items are you can put them up for sale when the market has improved for those. And so you're trying to buy low and sell high. It is probably the most simple, streamlined version of that fluctuating market, buy low, sell high out there. It's Mayfair, so the components are ho-hum. The game's fun, and it's only $15, and there's only one left. I highly recommend that one. And Gingerbread House. Okay, so Phil Walker Harding. Why, he is one of my favorite designers, and he has created one of my favorite sort of polyominoes Tetris-style games called Barren Park. This is sort of a follow-up to that, where you are using polyominoes. Oh, and my reviews are on this page as well, so you can watch that and check this one out. Where essentially everyone has their own board, and you're essentially building it up with different goods. You're trying to also free different characters that you may remember from fairy tales and such. And so essentially you're set collecting different items. You're taking different polyominoes. You're trying to put them on your board. You're stacking up in three-dimensional lands. And essentially you're trying to score the most points. But it's a really cool game. If you like that sort of build your own thing game, and when you're putting different shapes and different colors and set collecting and stuff, this one is really good, and that is Gingerbread House. Next one is Jamaica. Jamaica is one of my favorite racing games. First of all, the production is gorgeous. The artwork's awesome. The components are great. The board looks beautiful. Essentially, you're all pirates, and you're racing to the end. Now, racing games are ones that's not for everybody. The first one to the end usually wins, but not in this game. You can still win if you don't come in first, because you'll get points for depending on how close you were to the finish when the game ends, but you'll also get points for lots of gold. So there's lots of different strategies in this game. And throughout the game, you could be going out and just focusing just on gold, going really slowly, getting all the gold at different stops. And you might be nowhere near finishing, but you might still be able to score more than the winner. Now, you do have to make it sort of somewhat far in the game in order to possibly win at the end, even if you didn't win, get to the end first. But this game is so fun because it has an interesting action selection where everyone has the same hand of cards. And someone's going to roll 2 dice, and one of them is going to be like your first action, one's going to be your second action. And depending on those, you have your cards, and you're going to be sort of programming yourself on what to do. And sometimes crazy things happen. You can be shooting at other ships and other players. You can be finding coves. Sometimes you move backwards. You can plan yourself to have something bad happen, so you move backwards into a cove that has a nice little reward for you. It's a really fun racing game. I highly recommend this one. It's $24, which is a steal because it's usually $60. And that is Jamaica. The next one is, a really good little trick-taking game called Jericho. My reviews are there that you can see. $11. Wow, folks, get this one. This game matches trick-taking, card game, with area control on a board. Essentially, everyone's playing a card into a trick. You're trying to follow suit. And you're trying to play different cards. Now, based on the cards you play, you'll take specific actions depending on that card. And different actions are going to allow you to move your troops around different spots on the board, or move people out, or things like that. And the game's going to score over 3 different rounds. And each round, different areas score higher or lower. So you might go all racing to the end at the beginning of the game. That area doesn't score that much at the beginning. But towards the end, you'll already have a bunch of guys there at the end. That's worth a lot. Or do you focus on the other side of the board that's worth a lot at the beginning, so you can focus on that? But it's going to be harder to win the bigger ones at the end. Really good area control strategy, all driven by the engine of trick-taking. It's one of my favorite games. And Tasty Maestro put this version out. It's smaller. It's more compact than the original version that came out from overseas. But this game is fantastic. For $11, it's awesome. But you have to have at least 3 players to play. It's 3 to 5 players. Let's go to the next one, Nitwit. Now this one, again, I put this on here because it's only $3, definitely 90% off. This was a party game that came out, my review's on the page here, from Z-Man Games, from designer Matt Leacock. Have you heard of Pandemic? That game and Forbidden Island and many other Matt Leacock games, he designed this game. It's a fun little word party game where you have this sort of, it's called Nitwit because you have these, not knitting, but you have sort of rope that's sort of like string or yarn. And you have these little things that look like empty yarn holders. And you're trying to string these around different words that combine in interesting ways. So if you like party games, $3. It's not the best party game I've ever played, but for $3, it definitely will get you your money's worth. And that is Nitwit. The next one, Caronia. This is a very interesting auction game. There's a 2-player variant, but it's really best for 3 to 5 players. Wow, $4.50. This is such a cheap game. In this game, everyone has the same cards, ranging from, I believe, 1 to 12. And there's multiple different places that you'll auction over, and what comes out there are different types of tokens. And essentially, you're trying to win those tokens and do set collection. So each round, everyone's going to simultaneously place. You're going to place one in front of a specific, stall that has a token, and players are going to be doing this. And the cards are face down. You don't know who's doing what. Then based upon where everybody put their cards, you have the option, everyone, to go in clockwise order and possibly move that, because there's a lot of bluffing involved. And then you flip it up and you see who has the highest card. However, everyone has the same cards, 1 through 12, and after you use those cards, they're out of the game. So you're trying to figure out, kind of like for sale, the second half of the game for sale, where you're trying to like throw in a low card to win something good, because sometimes you can kind of do that. You don't want to pay too much for things, but you're also watching set collection. And each of them, the different tokens are worth different amounts of points. So does everyone just fight over the ones that for more? Maybe, but while they're doing that, you're going to sneak in and get one of lower points for a low card. And some of the things give you negative points. So it's a really interesting, quick auction game that's a lot of fun, about 20 minutes. It's only $4.50, so that's sort of a nice steal there too. Next one is a negotiation game. Looks like my reviews are here for that one as well. You can watch. Called Let Them Eat Cake. This came out from Osprey Games. Another one that's 90% off. $3 for this game. And this is a full 45-minute pure negotiation game where you go through in every round different aspects of the community are going to be voted on. The leader, the first player who will also do, break ties, and you're going to negotiate for that. Then you're going to be like different generals, and then you're going to vote for who's going to be on the guillotine. Then you're going to vote for who's going to possibly operate the guillotine and cut each other's heads off. And then, but it's all funny and cartoony art. Then you're going to see vote for someone who's going to be able to divvy up the cake that round, which are essentially points. And then you're going to vote and negotiate for people who can also possibly say that all the cake this round was poisoned and nobody can eat it. It is just a crazy, zany negotiation game. If you like negotiation, this one is awesome. You definitely want to check this one out. It is Let Them Eat Cake, and it's only $3. Wow, that is just awesome. Next one. Ooh, baby. Letters from Whitechapel. It's right behind me. Right here it is. Letters from Whitechapel is my favorite hidden movement game. I think when I did my top 100 many years ago in the Dice Tower, I think it was like my number 3 overall game of all time. This game, one of you plays as Jack the Ripper, and the other one plays as 5 cops chasing him down. This is a bigger, longer, epic game. It will last at least 90 minutes, probably closer to 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. Jack the Ripper is moving in a hidden way around over multiple rounds, trying to move from the scene of the crimes to get to his secret lair, his secret house, and everybody else is working together. You could play just 2 players, or you can play with multiple players. And it's 1 player versus everybody. Jack's by himself, and all the other players are trying to find him. And the interesting thing is, over the course of the round, you're going to learn little clues about where Jack's been. And you're trying to put together and cast this net. So by the end of the last round, you've got him sort of cornered, and you're trying to catch him. It's so tense. The Jack player's in constant paranoia, and the other players are using deduction to try to figure out where Jack went. This game is unbelievable. It is so awesome. It's very thematic. It's very immersive. And it's my favorite hidden movement game, and it's only $25. It's usually $50. So that game is just amazing. You got to pick that one up for sure if you like hidden movement games. This is from a dark theme that takes a long time to a kid's game that doesn't take a long time. This is fun. Even though this is a kid's game, adults like it too. This is a very crazy, fun game called Pingu. Seeing if my review there is not. This game has a soundtrack to play with. It comes with a CD, and it's a real-time game where players are flipping over cards, and you're doing different things. You're tapping different things. You're doing different things. Sometimes you're grabbing a big dart gun, and you're shooting at things across the room because you set the room up with these different penguins and such. And the cool thing is, if you do something wrong, you have to give points back. And sometimes it's daytime, and sometimes it's nighttime, and the cards do different things, whether it's day or night. And you're listening to the music to figure out when you're in a different spot, when things are getting faster or slower. It's hard to explain, but this game, you will be sweating after you play it. You will be breathing hard because you're running around the room. It's nuts, but it is so, so fun. And this one's only $22. So that's a good deal for that one. And from Yellow Games, this is a really fun game. I did review this one, so check out Game Boy Geek's Pingu review. The next one made my top 10 of the year that this came out, and I've got top 10 games of 2016 we see here, and you can check out my reviews there. This is from Tasty Minstrel Game. It is called Ponzi Scheme. It's an economic game where you are investing in different industries in a sort of a hidden way, because one player is going to put up an industry for auction, and someone's going to make you a bid, and you're either going to take their bid and they get that token, or you're going to secretly put in that same amount that that player bid of your own money and give it back. So when you set a price, you're basically setting up what you're willing to buy it for, but you might end up, getting that money as well instead of the token. And then it's set collection, and as you get more and more of the same thing, you're making more money. But the interesting part is it's a Ponzi scheme, so every so often you're going to have to pay back money from the money that you sort of lent to other people. And it's just crazy because you can see it coming, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to owe this much next round. I gotta make some money. Let me sell this for this. And you're trying to get them to buy it. So you're trying to pick tokens that other people will buy, but then you might get stuck with it, and then you go out of business. It's crazy. It's fun. It's one of my favorite economic games. It's very unique. There's nothing quite like it. The closest game I could say to this is a game called QE, which is a lot of fun. They're both terribly different from each other. But this is a game for 3 to 5 players. It's like one of my favorite economic games, so check that one out. The next one is a screaming deal, almost 90% off. Queen's Architect. I did review this one too. It's got, this is sort of a Euro-style game where you're hiring different workers to create the Queen's Castle. And in this, you're essentially gathering different workers and then using them. And as you use them, they get more tired. Some of the workers actually gain strength as they work on. And you're trying to figure out this puzzle of what strength do my different workers need to be at the right times and be in the right place to use all that power to build a certain building. It's sort of a puzzly Euro game. You're buying other workers. You're resting your workers to turn them in a different way to make your numbers line up. It's a little bit of a mathy Euro game, but it is so, so fun. And it's only $15. But I highly recommend this one, as I do on all these. I've handpicked all of these ones. Next one, great, fantastic 2-player. This was my 2-player game of the year not last year, but the year before. And I have a bunch of reviews here on the site that you can watch. This is a 2-player game from Alex Cavern, who's done World's Fair 1893. He's done Sentient. He's done Succulent. This is a fantastic tug-of-war sort of abstract game, which pretty much all his games are, where you're a thief, you're a prowler making passages underground. As you steal things, you're running underground with that, not getting caught. But it's really interesting because there's different districts in the game, and each of them is sort of a track, if you will. And it's sort of a tug-of-war over these 5 different districts. You're going to do something and pull it your way. The other player is going to do that and pull it the other way. But there's 5 of these going on at once because at the end of the scoring, you score twice each game, once halfway through and once at the end. You can only score if you have the district on your side of the tug-of-war rope, and each of them score differently. So not only are you trying to tug these things back and forth, but you're also trying to go down the strategy that scores you points for those ones. So you might be setting a strategy on this district and gathering a bunch of stuff that's getting you a lot of points for that. But then, towards the end of the round, the other player might wrestle that district back from you, and you're not going to be able to score any of that stuff. So it's really, really tight. Really fun. 20 minutes. It used to be a pretty expensive game at $35, but at $21, this is an absolute steal, and that is a Prowler's Passage. The next one is, wow, 90% off here. Space Sheep. This is an older game. It's a cooperative sort of deduction game where you're working together to try to get everything to line up in certain colors and shapes. You've got spaceships, you've got sheep, and you're trying to get all the right colored sheep on the right colored space stations. And it's a very abstract game. It's a very puzzly game, but I really enjoyed it. Not everyone I played this with enjoyed this. You have to like deep thinking, logical, puzzly games to like this. But if you like those style of games and you like cooperative games, $5, wow, this used to be $50. $5, this is a very good deal like that. The next one is Star Wars Destiny. This was a CCG, a collectible card game that came out a long time ago. It's almost ending its route now where they're going to stop making boosters for it, but the game is really, really good. Essentially, it's a card and dice game where you're going to have different people. Again, I got my reviews here that you can watch. But you're going to have different people from the Star Wars universe. I'll show you the starter packs in a minute, but there's starter packs where you can just buy out like a Luke starter pack or a Boba Fett starter pack or a Rey or a let's see, what other ones are there? Kylo Ren. And these starter packs come with a bunch of cards and a bunch of dice, and you have different characters. And each round, you're going to hand a card, and you're playing these cards. You're spending currency to play them, and they're doing different things. You're trying to raise dice and get a lightsaber on somebody else. But the way that the combinations work between the cards and the dice and the way that things resolve is very interesting. And then after you're really good at the game, or you've played enough of the starter decks, you can go out and buy booster boxes and get a bunch of other cards. You can do drafting, or you can just make your own deck. But if you're not into customizing at all, you don't have to be. The 2-player game here for $12, it used to be $30, is a really good game that you could play over and over because, again, it's a card game and a dice game. The order that you get your cards, how the dice roll, your risk versus reward, the currency of resources and such. This is a fantastic game that I think everyone should at least try. For $12, it makes that easily doable. The next one is, okay, so here's a booster box for that. So there's, like, for $16, this used to be $100, and this had 36 booster packs in it, and you're getting it for $16. So between $16 and $12, so for $28, you will get 36 of these booster packs. And each of these come with, 5 cards and a die. So you're guaranteed to get one character that comes with its big, huge, chunky dice and 4 other cards. This comes with 36 of those packs. So you can really build up a good pool to draft from as well if you'd like to, if you want to, like, continue to dive into the Star Wars Destiny aspect of this. Wow, we're almost done already. It's only been 30 minutes. The next one is a light party game. Earlier I talked about feelings, and that was a good icebreaker when you're trying to get to know people and grow relationships through board games, which is what I'm all about. This one does that really well too. It's from CGE, Chex Game Edition, and in this game, essentially, you get to craft a question. And there's 3 different styles of question that you can craft. And so you have these cards that have the 3 different questions on it, each of a different style, and you have multiples of those. So from all these cards, you're coming up with the right question to ask, and you get to ask somebody a question, and they're going to pick an answer, but everyone else is trying to bet how will they answer this question. And so you listen to it, and then you learn about it, and there is some scoring and stuff, but the questions are really fun. They're really engaging, and it's fun that you can sort of bet on what people are doing, and you can sort of double down with some extra tokens trying to move further on the board. And it keeps, one cool thing is it actually makes it so that if you've been asked a question too many times, you can't be asked another question until everyone else has been asked a question. So it keeps it like even. Thank you. I'm the only one talking tonight, so my voice is going already. All right, so that's just a question is $6.25. Really good deal there. I've got 3 more for you guys. TikTok, another great deal, 90% off, $2. I have this one up on my shelf, but I'm not going to get it because it's near the lights and it'll probably topple over. This game is sort of a real-time team versus team word game where there's dice. There's a little blue die there you can see there. And someone is rolling these dice, and it has different letters. And you're trying to come up with different words with these letters. But there's 2 strategies. You can either wait really hard and try to think, like one player from each team is doing this. And you're trying to either build long, good scoring words, but slowly, or you're trying to rush to the end and make really fast words that aren't at that many points. Because when you're done, you're going to flip the timer, and the other teams have a tiny bit more time, and then they stop. Then you swap pads, and people are trying to guess. So if you went really long and you took your time, it gives the other players more time to kind of guess them. But if you went really fast, you don't give them as much time to guess them, but they're easier words. It's a really interesting balance. And this is great with big groups, and it's $2, folks. I did review this one too. It doesn't seem to be on the page here, so just check that out for TikTok. I'm surprised this one's still in print for $2. My gosh, what a steal for this one. All right, 2 left. Time in Space. This is sort of a Euro style game, but it is real time. And so what's going to happen is going to be all these sand timers, and you're essentially working with other players. You need at least 3 to play. I think it plays 3 to 5. I've reviewed this one too. And you're essentially moving your ship. There's different actions you can take. You take the sand timer, you put it on your board, you might put it on your ship, or you might put it on something else. And when that timer ends, you can take that action, like moving your ship on the board. And you're trying to move your ship to other people's planets to buy and sell goods. So you want to buy some goods there, then you got to move around and move it to someone else to sell it there. You're trying to buy low, sell high, but it's also being done in this real-time fashion, but it's not like hectic. It's more like a thinky game that moves sort of slow, even though it's a real-time game. It's not one of those ones where you're like, oh, going really fast. You're taking something, you're thinking, you're looking at what other players are doing, you're looking at what actions they might be doing, you're thinking about what you're going to do next, and then, oh, my timer's done, I can activate this. And it's like a 30-second timer. So it's not like really quick, but you've got multiples of these and you're trying to make things happen. A really cool economic game in space, and it's a real-time game. The last one, folks, is Wits and Wagers Vegas expansion. This used to only be available through, it came out on Kickstarter. It used to only be available through North Star Games, but now it's here. This is an expansion, so you need to have either Wits and Wagers or Wits and Wagers Party Edition. And if you do, you can add this. And this is a humongous rollout playmat with great components. Now, I bring this to almost every party I go to because everyone just loves Wits and Wagers. This is one of those games, and of course, you can teach anybody or any group of people. But having it on a big playmat, you can have everyone gather around. Huge groups of people can see it, and you're betting. And the Vegas thing adds really cool things. Is not only are you just betting on which answer is right. So if you're not familiar with Wits and Wagers, essentially there's a question like how many steps are in the Empire State Building, and it's a question designed that nobody knows the answer, and it's all numeric answers. Everyone writes an answer down, puts it face down. Once everyone has it, you're going to flip over your answers and put them in ascending order, left to right. So you put them on this board, and you're going to be betting. So the ones closer to the median, which are probably the most safest bets, are like lower odds. You can get 2-to-1 odds. But if it's one of the higher ones, farther away from the median, it's going to be worth more, like 5-to-1 odds. So you're betting chips, but this one allows you to bet on just red, which is like the lower three, or just bet on black, which is the higher three, and get 2-to-1 odds, or 1-to-1. You'll double your money. But another cool thing is, in this game, you can actually bet on who might know the answer before you even see the answers. So it might be a sports question. You might go, Dan knows sports. I'm going to bet on him, and it's 10-to-1 odds without even seeing my answer. This game is a blast. But again, remember, you have to buy Wits and Wagers, the regular version, or Wits and Wagers Party, one of the base games, in order to actually get this and buy it. But if you have the base game, get this. You got to get it. And if you don't have the base game, buy that and buy this, because this is one of the biggest attractions to every party I go to. Okay, let's see. Oh, we got some comments. Billy says, I just want to say that I freaking love Dan King. Oh, that's so nice, Billy. Thank you very much. Hannah says, the play art is really nice. The play mat is very nice. Yes, the play mat on this is very nice. It's thick. It's neoprene. And for those that have been joining late, this is the last one I have for you. For those of you joining late, remember, you can go to miniaturemarket.com. And I'm going to take myself off the screen here so you can see it. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can click this Browse Sale List, and it will bring you right up to a spreadsheet like this that you'll go through, and you can look at all of them and click the links and go right to the games. That's pretty much what I did here, folks. So, hey, thanks for joining. I hope you found some good deals. Again, I bought 22 games over the last couple days on this sale, and I'm dying to get those here. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Thank you so much for joining. If you like this, let me know, and I'll